Do not buy a house. A lot of people think that buying a house is an asset. Buying a house is not an asset, it is a liability. Hi guys, this video is for newlyweds. Are you newly married and you're looking to take control of your finances as a couple and trying to set yourselves up for success, set yourself up for a marriage that is good, or are you preparing for marriage? Listen, it's always good to prepare for marriage. I have some really sound, good advice for you that will help you financially be better off as a couple, and potentially, if you invest your money well and you take the advice, that has been proven to be a good thing, right? Advice that has been proven to be exceptionally wonderful and great for good financial stewardship and helping people to accumulate and compound in interest literally $500,000 to $1 million over a course of 40 to 60 years if you invest your money properly. I'm just gonna say. And I'm not in this video, it's more so tips and tricks on budgeting and being smart, things to do as a newlywed and things not to do as a newlywed to take control of your finances and to be set up for the future. In another video, I will link it somewhere, go into depth on how to get started investing in the stock market as a beginner. And I think that video will prove as golden advice for you guys if you want to watch it after watching this. You're getting ready to get married and you're a newlywed. If you are getting ready to get married, one of the first things I'm going to say to you is if you are planning to do a big wedding and put that wedding on a credit card or take out a loan for the wedding, don't do it. Don't do it. I know a lot of people are obsessed with big weddings and paying exorbitant amount of money for a wedding for one day and end up paying for years back the cost of this wedding. Do not do it. You are setting yourself up for financial hardships, marital issues, and problems revolving around money and overall just stress created from having that much to pay back and that much in debts and fees. So that's the first thing I'm going to say is do a wedding that is affordable, that you can afford, and that is not going to cost you a ton of money. And that is not going to set you up for struggles and hardships that you do not have to go through. Friends, do not make treacherous journeys and take risks on treacherous roads, and do not swim in the sea of debt. All right, so that's the first thing in case anybody's watching this that's planning to get married and is thinking about doing a 10K to a 30K $1,000 wedding and putting it all on credit card. Don't do it, friends. Don't do it. 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 Do something that you can afford. It's just as wonderful. And it'd be even more wonderful when you don't have to be weighed down and bombarded by all these mounts and piles of debt and fees and stuff that you have to pay back. That's going to cause stress on your marriage and all kinds of issues that you don't want. All right. So you're looking to set yourselves up for success. Well, I got the thing for you. Well, first of all, remember I talked about that investment video? To put this in a perspective, as a couple, you guys need an investment portfolio. You guys need to be investing. If you want to accumulate and compound a large amount of money over time, especially if you are young, compound interest is really going to work in your favor, especially when you start out super young. But whatever time you're watching this right now, compound interest is the way to go. You want to get an investment account right now and start. And I have a video on that already if you're interested to watch later. But that's the first thing I'm going to say, and to put it into perspective, $300 to $500 invested a month for 40 to 60 years will literally compound into over $1 million, 700 to $1 million, depending on if it's a 7 to 9% annual return rate. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And that's the power of compound interest. All right. That's the first thing I'm going to say. All right. The number one tip I have for you guys is budget. You have to budget. You have to sit down together and come up with a budget. Write down all of your bills and your income and subtract your bills from your income and see what you have remaining. And what you have remaining is what you're going to use to A, set aside a portion of it and invest it. A larger portion goes to investments. A smaller portion you will save it. Put it into a savings account. It's always good to have a savings account in case there are emergencies. There's always something that we never planned for that happens out of the blue. Set aside money for those things. One of the most common budgeting principles, percentages, is the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your money that you make every month should go towards your needs, your expenses, the things that you actually have to spend money on every single month to keep going, to sustain your family, to put a roof over your guys' head, to put food on the table. Now, quick side note that I want to mention is a lot of people spend a lot more on groceries than they need to be spending simply because they just go to the grocery store and just start picking stuff up and putting it in the basket without actually creating a meal plan or a grocery list and actually just like prepping their meals and planning ahead of time. So, see if you could save money on groceries by A, spending less money on unnecessary groceries, shopping at affordable grocery stores, and not overspending on food. Don't overspend on food. The common principle is for the 50-30-20, 50% goes to needs, like I was saying, 30% goes to wants, and 20% to savings. I think that's ridiculous. 50% should go towards your needs, absolutely, your bills, all that stuff, 100%. Or some of us have more bills than they need to. Another side note I want to mention is if you have two incomes, you really shouldn't be struggling financially. With two incomes, if you're struggling financially and you're living paycheck to paycheck as a couple, already you're living above your means and you're doing something wrong. With two paychecks, two times the income, you're doing something wrong. If you're living paycheck to paycheck with double the income. Okay? I'll get into that later. But I believe 30%, instead of it going towards wants and people just wasting their money on stuff that they want, that won't actually impact or improve their life in a significant amount of way, 5% goes to your wants, right? We'll take the other 25%, put it in an investment account. The 20% can go towards savings. Another rule of thumb, another good, I guess, percentage is 70% goes towards your needs, your bills, etc. 20% savings and investing, and the 10% debts and donations. Very commonly, a lot of Americans have a lot of debts, student loan debts, car payments, loan payments. Now, if you are a married couple and you have not bought a house yet, do not buy a house. Do not buy a house. A lot of people think that buying a house is an asset. Buying a house is not an asset, it is a liability. It is money that is leaving your bank account monthly that you will not get back. If you are buying a house, ensure that both your income combined, either both your income combined makes more than enough, and you will still have more than enough to pay for all the house payments and still be able to save a little bit and still be able to invest money monthly and still be able to cover all of your fees and payments. Don't get a house if it means that you're going to end up living paycheck to paycheck and you're not going to be able to afford it because it is above your means, and then your finances become extremely tight and extremely difficult because you're spending a whole lot more money than you're actually making. Or it puts you in a position where you're unable to save money and you're unable to put any money into investments. When buying a house, it's very important to take into account that the house is not an investment and the house is not an asset. It is a liability. Unless you're buying that house specifically for it to be a rental property, then it's an investment. And you have a certain strategy, and you're not just buying the house because it's what everybody does and you thought it was an asset and you thought it was a good thing. It's a liability. The house is depreciating in value every single year. Just like a car is a liability, just like the flat screen TV is a liability, which are expenses and things that a lot of couples and a lot of people spend money on. And all they're doing is they're accumulating debt and expenses and not accumulating any form of assets whatsoever. So don't fall into the trap of accumulating a bunch of expenses, especially that you're a newlywed couple or a couple that wants to grow financially and be financially responsible. Don't accumulate liabilities. A lot of different ways that you can set up your income um, in a way that it makes sense for you. So there's also the 75, 15, and 10 rule. 75 of your income goes towards your expenses, 15 goes towards investments, 10 goes towards savings. Whatever works for you, whatever percentage you find works for your family, works for your relationship, your marriage, is what you guys need to sit down and come up with a plan that works for both of you, taking into account, of course, your income, your expenses, how much you want to save, how much you want to invest, and how much you need to be, your debts and all of that. What works for you? That's budgeting wise. One of the things that people talk about is most popular is you'll hear people talk about their $7 coffee every single day that they're so excited to get. Listen, listen, listen. If you want to be financially responsible and you want to set your family up for success, there's going to be required some sacrifices. You're going to be making choices that might feel uncomfortable now that will benefit your family later. You don't need that cup of coffee. You don't need another teddy bear or another plushie to be added to your collection. You don't need a house. You don't need a brand new car, even though it seems like you can afford it. You do not need to be taking on a bunch of debt that's going to cripple you and restrict your finances. And you know what? The Bible says the borrower is a slave to the loan agent. The borrower is enslaved to the loan agent, to the lender. So if you cannot really afford it right now, don't do it because everybody else is doing it or because everybody is telling you you need to do it. Don't do it because you're married and you got the wife, you got the husband. Now it's time to get the house. Houses are not assets unless you have an investment plan for the house. Houses are liabilities. Cars are liabilities. If you're going to buy a car as a couple, get a used car that is affordable that you can pay off the debt for. Either you're going to pay outright the cost of it and buy it for cash, or get a car with as small of a balance as you can possibly get to set your family up for success and limit your debt to income ratio. That's it, guys. I hope this video was a huge blessing to you and to your marriage and to your finances going forward.